Vanakkam and good afternoon. I'm joining you live from Karaikudi in Tamil Nadu. I'm on the election trail, getting you the latest ground reports of what's happening in the poll-bound state of Tamil Nadu. Over the next half hour, the big headlines from Tamil Nadu, where I am, Kerala as well as Puducherry coming your way. Let's start off with the big development that's come in from where I am in Tamil Nadu, where M&M chief Kamal Haasan has been in fact targeted by a flying squad. His vehicle was searched, and this happened in Thanjavur while he was on his way to Trichy. Now, Kamal Haasan was on his way to attend a public meeting when he was stopped by the Election Commission's flying squad, which is deployed across the state really to check all vehicles and to conduct surprise checks. Now, they conducted a surprise check on Kamal's vehicle as well. And that's when, of course, nothing was found. Kamal spoke out soon after, saying that these kind of searches were more than welcome. He even took a jibe, saying that the only thing that the flying squad or any officials are going to be finding in his car is that of his sweat and his hard work and his commitment. Remember that this development importantly also comes after there were raids that were conducted against a member of the Makkal Needhi Maiam. In fact, the treasurer of the party, Durai Murugan, was raided by the IT department. There too, Kamal Haasan had hinted at a political conspiracy.
சொல்றாங்க அப்கோர்ஸ் நான் வரும்பொழுது வண்டியை நிறுத்தி சோதனைகள்லாம் போட்டாங்க. எல்லா வண்டியும் சோதனை செய்யணும். பத்திரிகையில் கூட செய்தி வந்தது. என் வண்டியில் நேர்மை கிடைக்கும், என் வேர்வை கிடைக்கும், வேற ஒன்றும் கிடைக்காது. இல்லை போன இடத்துல உட்காந்து டீ குடிக்கலாமாங்கிறதுக்கு சில்லறை வச்சிருப்பேன் நான். எனக்கு கூட வர்றவங்களுக்கு சேர்த்து வேணுங்கிறதுக்கு. அதை தவிர வேற ஒன்றும் கிடைக்காது. ஆனால் கட்டுக்கட்டா போன எலெக்ஷன்ல ஒருத்தர் வீட்டில் இருந்து பணம் எடுத்தாங்க. அவரை இன்னும் யாருமே கேள்வி கேட்ட பாடில்லை. என்ன வந்து கேட்குறீங்களா? எவ்வளவு கோவம் வரும் எனக்கு. மீசைய நாளுக்கு நாள் முறுக்கிக்கிட்டே போகுது. அந்த கோவத்துல தான்.
Let's take this across to Pramod Madhav. He's joining us live from Chennai with more details on this. Pramod, second time that we're seeing a member of the Makkal Needhi Maiam, this time Kamal Haasan himself being targeted. Of course, it's a flying squad. How has Kamal chosen to react to this?
Well, Akshita, like earlier, Kamal said that he's completely angry because his vehicle was checked. But later, his team's trying to insist that his vehicle was checked 3 times in 3 different locations. That is what actually, caused the actor turned Neta to become angry over the matter. In fact, he claims that no matter how many times his vehicle is being checked, all they can find is his honesty and his sweat, hard-earned honesty, and not just that, a little bit of coins, maybe for a change, for getting tea or something. So he's trying to show that he's an humble person and nothing of any sort of corruption can be pinned on his name. However, he's also putting forward a question that the authorities, who is checking his vehicle so many times, why they don't have questioned or do not have any updates regarding a person, a candidate in 2019 from whose properties bundles of money were recovered at that point. This is actually indirectly he's taking a jibe at DMK. Allegedly could be the general secretary of the party from in 2019 elections. There was a huge chaos at that point when EC actually recovered bundles of money from Vellore constituency.
Right. All right, Prabhu, this is a story we'll track very closely. Thank you very much for joining me on this broadcast. Let me also get you this ground report filed by Pramod when he caught up with the Fisheries Minister, D. Jayakumar, considered to be a very, very close aide of Chief Minister EPS. He is out on the campaign trail. It's very interesting to see how several leaders are going all out, doing all they can to woo in votes. Here's what I'm talking about.
Minister Jayakumar is one man who has stood alongside CM Edapadi K. Palanisamy during the best and worst times. A man who openly dismissed Shashikala's re-entry into AIADMK. Jayakumar is contesting for the 6th time from Royapuram in North Chennai. Annan DJ, as he is fondly called by his fans, is a popular man in the Royapuram area.
Campaign is how actually the people coming and receiving me, so Arati and throwing flowers, that all shows thumping majority, not only in Royapuram, through Tamil Nadu it will happen.
A multi-talented entertainer, he projects himself as a musician, an athlete, essentially a master of all trades.
You see from here, 1 kilo, more than 500 meters, the people crowds and the people coming, cadres coming, Alliance Party coming. Apart from that, people also coming to the campaign. You might see how they are not actually party women. They are actual people. So they welcoming means it shows that they only want the government AIADMK, not DMK.
Jayakumar's colourful persona has also made him a favourite target of opposition meme machine. He isn't offended though.
I really enjoy it. No, see, they take the time and thinking about me and sitting in the system and actually spending time more than 1 hour towards me. I actually appreciate them and I congratulate them. I wish them.
A huge fan of MGR, he uses movies of the former Chief Minister to take aim at the DMK.
In Arasil and Kumari, there is one song. So how the child to be. So I actually now sing, no. ஆளும் வளரணும் அறிவும் வளரணும் அதுதான்டா வளர்ச்சி உன்னை ஆசையோடு ஈன்றவளுக்கு அதுவே நீ தரும் மகிழ்ச்சி நாளும் ஒவ்வொரு காலம் தரும் பயிற்சி உன் நரம்போடு தான் பின்னி வளரணும் தன்மான உணர்ச்சி.
Minister Jayakumar, who's once again competing from Raipuram, claims that DMK itself has made it sure that he will once again win from this constituency. With camera person Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
And let me also get you the highlights of the BJP's much talked about manifesto for the state of Tamil Nadu. The big headline is, of course, the fact that they focused a lot on the farming sector, on agriculture, even promising a different budget, a special budget to deal with agri issues. They've also, on the issue of jobs, said that they will create 50 lakh new jobs in the state and make it #1 in the ease of doing business. Remember that the manifesto was released by Union Minister Nitin Gadkari. It's also promised to ban cow slaughter and is assured to implement strict laws against religious conversions through force or allurement, something they've done in several states. The BJP is promised to set up multi-specialty government hospitals in every district, a sum of 6,000 rupees for fishermen every year, free tablets for students of class 8 and 9, as well as doorstep delivery of ration. Weeks to go for the elections on April 6th, and in Kerala, the Congress finds itself again in a spot of bother as another top leader. This time, it's the Kerala Congress Vice President, KC Rosakutti, who's decided to, in fact, resign. The former MLA and chairperson of the Kerala Women's Commission, Rosakutti, was unhappy, she says, with the present developments in the party. She joins a string of resignations from the Kerala Congress's Women Wing President, Latika Subhash, to also the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee Secretary Ramani P. Nair. Earlier this month, you also had a very senior leader and a face of the party, PC Chaku, resigning from the party and deciding to join the NCP.
ഞാനിപ്പോഴേ വളരെയേറെ ആലോചിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം എടുത്തൊരു തീരുമാനമാണ്. ഞാൻ KPCCയുടെ വൈസ് പ്രസിഡൻ്റാണ്. അപ്പോൾ KPCCയുടെ വൈസ് പ്രസിഡൻ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു കൊണ്ട് ആത്മാർത്ഥമായിട്ട് പ്രവർത്തിക്കാൻ എനിക്ക് മാനസികമായി സാധിക്കുന്നില്ല. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഞാൻ AICC മെമ്പറാണ്. അപ്പോഴേ എൻ്റെ ആ KPCC വൈസ് പ്രസിഡൻ്റ് സ്ഥാനവും AICC മെമ്പർ സ്ഥാനവും അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ കോൺഗ്രസിൻ്റെ പ്രാഥമിക അംഗത്തിൽ നിന്നും ഞാൻ രാജിവെക്കുകയാണ്.
So you can see that Congress is again being hit by a slew of resignations, that 2 weeks to go for the election. So all eyes are really on the Gandhis, particularly on Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi, because they, in the course of this election season, have been taking up a slew of campaigns, very unique, different campaigns. In some cases, it's resonated with the crowds as well. But clearly, there's a crisis within the Congress that they need to first address. Here's a look at really how the Congress perhaps is hoping that they overcome this crisis to do well in the elections.
Think dynasty and politics, and the one family that first comes to mind is the Nehru-Gandhi Parivar. Once synonymous with power, the family is now fighting for political relevance and survival. If the stakes are high in the 5 assemblies facing elections, they are even higher for the Gandhi siblings. Having lost the Gandhi's traditional constituency for decades, Amethi, in 2019 to BJP's Smriti Irani, Rahul Gandhi has pulled out all the stops in the fight for Kerala. He is, after all, the MP now from Wayanad, and the upcoming polls are a matter of prestige for Rahul. So he's been cooking up a storm with locals, flexing his political muscle and diving straight into controversies like the time he suggested that voters in the south were more intelligent than those in North India.
I'm happy to come here. I found that people are interested in issues, and not just superficially, but going into detail in issues.
A comment that was enough for the BJP to target Rahul for disrespecting voters that had voted for him and his family for decades. The family name weighs heavy on the shoulders of the Gandhi scion, who had just last year resigned as the Congress president following the party's rout in the general elections. Since then, the party has been struggling with a leadership crisis, a crisis that forced 23 Congress veterans to dissent very publicly.
I was attacked by my own party people. So I'm the first person that says, look, democratic elections within parties absolutely critical. But I got a question for you. It's interesting to me that this question is not asked about any other party. Nobody asks the question, why is there no internal democracy in the BJP?
While Rahul fights for democracy, it is dynasty that he finds hard to shake off. In Tamil Nadu, the Congress has allied with another dynastic party, the DMK, that is witnessing another sunrise. The Congress in Tamil Nadu had to make a big climb down. The party this time is contesting only on 25 assembly seats compared to the 41 it fought in 2016. This despite the fact that Rahul Gandhi had made several trips to the state in the last 2 months. While the Congress battled its allies in Tamil Nadu, it lost power in Puducherry. With 5 of its MLAs and one of its alliance partner DMK resigning, the Narayan Swamy government was reduced to a minority. The Congress now faces a more difficult task of returning to power in Puducherry. As Rahul focuses in the south, in the east his party faces a monumental challenge. In West Bengal, Congress is a third force after having aligned with the left and the Indian Secular Front. In Assam, the BJP-led alliance and the Congress-led Mahajot seem to be neck and neck. And it's here that the Congress has launched its Brahmastra, Priyanka. Channeling her grandmother's charisma and style, Priyanka has been adapting her brother's hands-on campaign approach in the state.
The Congress is not the Gandhi family. The Congress is an idea. The Congress is an idea on which India was built. The Gandhi family is irrelevant. It can be this family, this leader, that leader. It is the idea that is alive.
While the Congress relied on Priyanka to propel it to power in the 2017 Uttar Pradesh elections, she didn't prove to be quite the game changer the Congress hoped for her to be. The Congress is in power in only 5 states for now: Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra and Jharkhand, where it is an alliance partner. This time too, with 5 states going to polls, it's a do-or-die battle for the Gandhi siblings. Will they be able to resurrect their party? We will only know on the 2nd of May. Bureau Report, India Today.
I visited the beautiful town of Kanjivaram, and the moment you hear about this town, the first thing that comes to our minds is the hand-woven Kanjivaram saris. So I spoke to the weavers who painstakingly have learnt this craft and continue to practice this. They've done so for the last 10 to 15 years. But they're saying that all of this movement of hashtag vocal for vocal doesn't really translate to any change for them.
Kanjivaram, the temple town just a couple of hours from Chennai, is home to a large weaver community.
This beautiful town is known for its architecture, its wonderful temples as you can see, and also the Kanjivaram saris. Most people come down to this town either to see the temples or to pick up a handmade beautiful sari of their own.
These are the artisans who skillfully create Kanjivaram saris. using gold thread and colourful hues sourced from Karnataka.
This is in Kanjivaram town, in a small village called Sevlamedu, where I've identified a weaver community. They've been doing this for decades and generations, hand-making beautiful silk saris for all of us and for our many, many occasions. So I'm going to visit one of these homes in this hamlet to understand the issues that weavers are facing and also how they so painstakingly make each of these saris. Let's go.
We make our way into a tiny house, through narrow corridors to a small room. Here, a weaver is hard at work, turning thread to sari. It's not an easy job, and it takes years to master the craft. Over the drone of a weaving machine, we hear them talk about how the government has failed them.
கல்வி உதயத்தை கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க, இயற்கை மரணம் கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க, விபத்து மரணம் கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. எங்களுக்கு எந்த விதமான கொடுத்துருந்ததே கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. புதுசாக நாங்கள் சலுகை வந்து கேட்கல. கொடுத்த சலுகைகளை இந்த கூட்டுறவு சங்கம் மூலியமாகவும் தனியார் நெசவாளர்களுக்கும் எங்களுக்கு சுத்தமாக கட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
Like everybody else, the lockdown impacted these artisans too. They complained that when they had no source of income, they thought help would come from the government. But it did not.
எதுவும் கொடுக்கல.
காசு ஒண்ணுமே கொடுக்கல.
எதுவுமே கொடுக்கல.
இது வரைக்கும் ஆட்சி என்னமோ பண்ணிருக்காங்களா உங்களுக்கு?
எதுவுமே செய்யலையே. இந்த சொன்ன போல் அந்த ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் போய் பார்த்தோமா 5000 வரும். அது முன்னே நான் கூட வாங்கிக்கிறேன். இப்போ அதுவும் கேன்சல் ஆகிடுச்சு. அது இருந்தால் கூட எவ்வளோ மேலே இருக்கும். போய் இப்போ பார்த்து இது பண்ணுமா துட்டு வாங்கிக்கலாம் கவர்மெண்ட்டில்.
At another weaver's workplace, we meet Murugan. He says he's been doing this for the last 46 years. Murugan thinks that his is the last generation of weavers. The hand-woven Kanjivaram story ends here.
எங்கள் ஊர்லேயே 2000 பேர் நினச்சிருந்தாங்க, தொழில் செஞ்சாங்க. இதில் வருவாய் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தனியார் கம்பெனிக்கு போயிட்டாங்க, கொத்தனாருக்கு போயிட்டாங்க, ஆட்டோ ஓட்ட போயிட்டாங்க, பெயிண்ட் அடி போய்க்கிறாங்க. எல்லாருமே தொழில் செஞ்சவங்க தான் குழந்தைங்க வந்து.
The weavers here feel the demand for Kanjivaram saris has gone down because their product is expensive, and more people are now choosing to buy the cheaper machine-made saris.
ஆனால் இந்த ஜிஎஸ்டி மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் எடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா இப்போ ஒன்றுன்றதுல எல்லாத்துக்குமே ஜிஎஸ்டி போட்டு ரொம்ப க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. இப்போ பாருங்கள், எங்களுக்கு சரியான முறையில் ப்ரொடெக்ஷன் இல்லை, தொழில் வந்து நெரிச்சி வரல. அதனால் இந்த கூலி ரொம்ப கம்மியாக இருக்குது இந்த ஜிஎஸ்டியால். அதை கொஞ்சம் சரி பண்ணாங்கன்னா கவர்மெண்ட்டு நல்லா இருக்கும்பா. அதுதான்.
While change is killing his craftsmanship, in his politics, Murugan for one wants to vote for change. He says he's fed up with both the AIADMK and the DMK.
நான் அமமுக தினகரன் குருபா.
ஏன் தினகரன்?
தினகரன்னா இருக்கிற 2 கவர்மெண்ட்டுமே சரியில்லை, ஓயல்வாதிங்க. அதிமுக ஓயல்வாதி, திமுக ஓயல்வாதி.
More and more people are opting to stop their weaving business and choose to move into another sector, into another field. This perhaps is something we need to address to keep the culture, the tradition of Tamil Nadu alive and to ensure that this weaving art form continues in the beautiful town of Kanchipuram.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.